Hey, Mike.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Coach, turnovers have been a thing for both of these teams this year. In the first two times you played them, had a big advantage in your favor. And I just wondered, what are the things that coaches try to do to mitigate turnovers, and how much do you think that's been a thing for you this season?
It's been an up and down thing for us this year. I just feel like the lack of chemistry through repetition has led to some of our turnovers, because you build trust through reps. And we just haven't had a ton of them with the different groups that we've had to put on the floor. So right when we've been hitting our stride and playing decent basketball, usually you see during those stretches our turnovers were low. And when we've hit our roughest patches, the turnovers were back up. So, we're really trying to remedy that. We show it on film. We narrow it down to specific areas where the turnovers are occurring. We teach off of that. And the games against them were some of the few games that we really, did a good job in the turnover area from the standpoint of winning that possession battle. Hopefully we can keep that going tonight. But this young team has incredibly active hands, and they're super fast and they're super long, and they're not afraid to get in the passing lane and take a risk. And so we have to be very sound and fundamental in our principles offensively.
Coach, we saw that Wayne Ellington is out and not with the team with an illness. Just wondered what you missed there in the starting lineup, and if you can share plans of how to replace that.
Yeah, we're still talking about the lineup right now, but obviously Wayne is a gunslinger, and he provides elite spacing for us from the standpoint of opening up the floor for our attackers and also creating action off ball for us. So obviously that movement and that spacing will be missed, but I think our team is starting to get accustomed to the rhythm of losing guys and having to step up after that, and so it will be a next man up mentality.
And you had mentioned really a couple games ago about how some athleticism and some energy might help you guys, and then Stanley Johnson came along last game. Just wondered how much he might be in the plans for this back-to-back and what he's brought you after the first game.
He's going to be a big part of the plans tonight, because again, we're still not where we want to be from a roster standpoint, and so. You look at Doa's back home, Wayne's back home, Austin's back home, Bays is back home. Like, we got a lot of guys still. That's a part of what with Trevor, who's a big, another forward for us. So Stanley is huge in what we're trying to do, and with his motor and his defensive intensity and prowess, we can really use that right now. And the first game was if that's an indicator of what he's going to provide, then I'm really hoping that he can give that to us again.
Put it down, please.
Hey, Fizz. We've talked to you a lot about LeBron in your time, I guess, over the last week and a half or so. But I'm curious, what's the biggest difference in the way that he approaches work when you go to work with him now than when you first did? If there's anything that stands out as a real difference in the way that he kind of handles his business on a daily basis.
I think he's much more present now. I think he really has found a peace in the game, where he's found a lane of peace and peace of mind. And I feel like, in talking to him right now, he wants to be greedy about winning, but it's not about chasing winning, and that's the feeling I get from him. And it's kind of cool to watch that maturity level and that understanding of how to keep yourself in the present moment and the effect that has on your team. And, yesterday's film session was a perfect example. Yesterday's practice was a perfect example. It was just about that moment and how he could help us and help his teammates. And it was really fun to be around and fun to watch. And I told one of the younger coaches, what you're watching is pretty special. You don't know it yet, but don't take it for granted, because there's not a lot of guys that's like this. And so to see that level of understanding and peace in his approach has been phenomenal, and a learning tool for me.
Kyle?
Hey, Fizz, how you doing?
Great.
Just a couple clarifying questions on the status of guys. One, with Wayne, the non-COVID illness, is that something that right now, even if a guy is not testing positive, if he's got something else going on, that there's more caution, concern about bringing a guy on like that on the trip?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that maybe, yeah, it's probably a little more sensitive right now. You know, I'm not saying necessarily that's why, but he wasn't feeling well. And you know, just under these days and times, it's like, why put a guy and put the teammates in any kind of way of, you know, their immune system getting broken down. You know, even if it's a cold or a flu, it's like at these days and times, like you don't want to, you know, bring any new things into the group. And so, you know, I think it was much more just a cautionary thing. And, you know, I think he just wasn't feeling very well. And, you know, it was a sound decision to make.
And then two, I don't even know if you can answer this, but Austin has passed the 10-day threshold, which has sort of been a benchmark for a long time. Is the barrier testing? Do you even know about that?
I don't know the barrier, honestly. And I just know that he's really close. You know, I know a lot of discussion was had about him possibly making this trip. And so I haven't gotten an update. And I'm sorry, I don't have any new information, but I know he is close.
Fizz, without giving up too much to understand it's a team sanctuary, but what about what LeBron did on Monday made it so special? Any detail about it?
His ability to check himself and include himself in the flawed areas, and to use himself as an example as someone that needs to do better. It allows him to lead in a real clear way. You know, guys want to be around guys that own their own crap. And I think he really understands that. And, you know, the things that we're asking of our team to, you know, from guys sacrificing certain things and defensively things that we want guys to do, you know, if he's not involved in the actual just correction and trying to help a guy through the process, he's saying, man, I'm doing this too. We got to do this better. We got to do it. And it's just, you know, to see that level of maturity, to understand that you draw people in when you build connection, you know, when you show that you're a human being too. He really has a pulse on that. And the guys have just, you know, I know the outside world thinks it's like, oh, God, it's crazy. No, inside it's just really a close-knit group. And LeBron and Frank are really pushing this group closer together.
Thanks, Fizz.
Hey, Fizz, just as a matter of procedure, is there any update on Frank? And is the assumption basically the group you have today going to be the group for tomorrow, just considering the quick turnaround?
I don't know what tomorrow means. I really don't. I cannot. I don't make assumptions about tomorrow in today's NBA. I just take out, you know, what we have today, what we have in front of us. I got a coach tonight, and these are the guys that we have tonight. And then, you know, based on the information we get tomorrow, I'll be able to tell you better. Obviously, Frank is getting close as well. You know, we was joking around how much we miss him today on the Zoom because of his crazy jokes, and he's just a great human being to be around and to be in the trench with. And, you know, to a man, we all just, as corny as it sounds, we really miss him, and we miss our video guys who are also at home.
You saw them a couple times in the fall. I'm just wondering, what did you make of Alfred Chingu when you saw him then?
Who?
Alfred Chingu. What did you make of him when you saw him then? How have you seen him progress?
Man, these guys, all of them, they're just like wildflowers. You know, they grow so fast and they pick up stuff so quick. And every time you see them, they're different. And, you know, I noticed, I don't know if this answers your question, it's kind of vague, but just watching the league in general and these young guys that's coming through the league, like game to game, they're growing and jumping, and they're faster, they're more skilled, and they don't make the same mistakes. And so, you know, for us, you know, that's kind of the thing we're noticing. All of us are watching this film, even the guys on our team, the older players are like, man, I remember we could have got him on this, but now he's starting to guard this way. And so to see, him and all of these guys like growing, it's pretty remarkable to see that. Yeah.
Just everybody. Thanks, man.
Yeah.